Good afternoon. This is Arlo Johnson speaking to you from Vernon, British Columbia. It's May the 13th, I believe. Oh, yes, it is, and it's about 3:42 p.m. Nice, warm, sunny day. We're going to most likely hit close to 30 degrees Celsius, 90 some degrees Fahrenheit. Today it's kind of a warm spell before it should be warm, because it's only May 13th. Obviously going to cause some flooding, I wouldn't doubt. But it's spring, and I love spring. I wish, it really makes me wonder. Now, this is just my take on it. In God's world, the day ends at sundown, and a new day starts. Now, when you think about it, that's a pretty reasonable way to have a day and night. We don't do that. We have, I guess, a Gregorian calendar, it's called, or whatever it is. But anyway, we start the new year, on January the 1st. In this country, that means in a snowbank in Saskatchewan at 12:01 a.m. in the middle of the night. That's when we start our year. Phew. God's year was supposed to start in the month of April, approximately. It wasn't approximately. I think it was like the 12th of Abib, which I believe is April. Now, that certainly makes sense to me. A new year starts when there's a new year. Everything wakes up. Things had been dead all winter. They wake up. They start life again. What better way to start that? But we don't do that. No, we know so much better. But anyway, that's only a couple of my pet peeves about things. The other one that's been rolling around in my mind for quite a while is, I wonder where all the Christians are in this country. Now, I'm living in Vernon, BC. It's a small 50,000 plus whatever population little city in Vernon, British Columbia, in the Okanagan Valley. Pretty typical, I'd say. I'd say there's about 10 or 12 churches for sure. When the Friday newspaper comes out, on the church page or whatever else, is usually a full page, everyone is saying church services on Sunday at 10:30, 11, and this and that, except one. The only one I noticed there is the Seventh-day Adventists. They are on Saturday. Now, when I read the Ten Commandments, it says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. You work 6 days a week, don't work on the seventh day, keep it holy, and remember God's time of creation. Now, if they all decided it's on Sunday, I don't know, who are they following? They're not following God then at all. Jesus said he's the Lord of the Sabbath. And he said the Sabbath was made for man. Man was not made for the Sabbath. In fact, the reason is the Sabbath is supposed to be a benefit to man. Now, one church caused all this to happen pretty well. And all these, I call them sister churches. I went to the Lutheran church for close to 60 years, till I finally quit. And I could put in a thimble what I got out of that in 60 years. I never got any real, feeling of instruction in the things that really count. No, the Lutheran Church basically is a sister church of the Catholic Church, just doesn't have a pope. Anyway, I've been following a different group. They're actually out of Charleston, North Carolina. Charleston, North Carolina. They're a pretty reasonable group. They don't have churches. They're all on the internet, and they have preachers in all kinds of areas and whatever. But they rent their buildings. They don't big humongous buildings. But anyway, they're the one I'm following, I guess, right now is, and have been for quite a while, was started by Herbert W. Armstrong in Pasadena, California, way back. But anyway, I like their presentations. And they're on the internet pretty strong. They have a big website you can listen to. I usually turn it on Saturdays or Sabbath day and kind of leave it on there. And they preach about everything under the sun. And things that to me, it just seems natural what they're saying. And I could go along with it. One of the problems that I see coming up more and more that I never noticed in this 89 years, and I went to church pretty well, since I was 7 years old, I believe. And I went to church early. In fact, I was the only one that went to church in our family. They made sure that I went to church. But the things that build up, and I never heard of such a thing as the rapture during my lifetime until, I don't know, maybe the 1980s or something like that. Now, I don't think something like that can pop up out of something like, if you nitpick the Bible and try to pick out something that says, oh, there's going to be a rapture, there's going to be this, and you put in words and dream up words and stuff, twist what Jesus has said. And to me, I notice one after another churches are preaching this, and heavy. And like, if you don't believe this, you are going to be, really left behind. I don't think it works that way at all. And the reason they're popular is because they're preaching an easy way out of this world. And the Bible says it's going to be a tough way. It's going to be very bad, and Jacob's trouble is going to be horrendous. 1/4 of the population of the world is going to be destroyed. At least 1/4. And there'll be a lot of suffering and whatever. And I don't see where it says we can just take you out of here. They say that it doesn't mention the church during the last part or whatever. Well, I don't think you can go by that. And I think it's a bad thing to do that because you're believing something that mostly is not true. If it was true, Jesus Christ would have been talking about that a lot more. That would be a big cornerstone of his whole deal. I've come here to take you out before there's any problem and blah, blah, blah. Never said that. Never said that. What he said is, if you take the mark of the beast, of the Antichrist, of this world government that is going to develop, he said, God will send you to hell. You will be destroyed. If you don't take the mark of the beast, which you are not supposed to, there's a good chance you might starve to death. Because you won't be able to buy anything. That's to the one generation that's going to hit this head on. There's going to be the big choice. And I don't think that you're going to see any kind of so-called rapture of all kinds of people. You know, it's just like I believe in the rapture, and we'll just all leave and we won't have anything to do with this end of the world, flame, fire, wars and destruction and famine and floods and earthquakes and no. The thing is, it's boiled down to that last generation. And, you know, at my age, I maybe will miss the end of the tribulation, I guess you'd call it, yeah, because it may come. I'm, you know, going to be 90, so it's a good chance that I'll miss that. But if I don't, well, I don't think I'm going to take any mark from anybody. And I guess I'll have to just. But I know for a fact, I don't know for a fact, but I do believe that there is going to be very few who won't take that mark. And that is in this generation. It's right honed down to this generation. It's not the 100 billion people who have lived on this planet. They've got the hard choice. And it's a hard choice. It's going to be a very hard choice. I mean, it's just like, you know, do you want to be shot or do you want to be drowned? There's your choices. So it's going to be tough. Now, God does say in places he hints to the idea that he has a place to take people during the 3.5 year period that is the worst part of the tribulation. That could easily be the yeah, that's a big one. That's a hard one to figure out. It's a serious one, and there's only one way you can do this, or I can do this, or you can do this. You can believe what preachers want to come up with. You can believe media. You can believe politicians. None of that's any good, and you know that. But you know what happens is they become so powerful that they overcome people's resistance, and they finally give in because they can't go against it. It's just a steady grind, and that, you know, false beliefs just pile on one after another, and that is when Satan is in control of this world. He is in control of this world now. There's nobody else. He's the God of this world. Whether people want to believe that or not, or like it or not, doesn't matter. He is controlled by God to a certain extent that he can't really force you to do anything, but his influence is so great he can influence you to do it. Just a steady drip on you to do it, and make sin look exciting, fun, good, whatever. And he does that because, you know, God will punish that. God says, you break my law, the penalty is death. That's why Jesus Christ was crucified, to pay for that in advance. That was done before there was even a world. That was decided. So, you can't say that God isn't planning ahead for you and me. That's for sure. And so in my understanding and in my view, the only one that I can trust is what God has said in the Bible, through the Bible and his prophets and whatever, and every word that Jesus said for 3.5 years when he was preaching on this planet. And I should get a red letter Bible so I can refresh myself on it easy. So could you. Every word he said is in red letters. And you know that you can trust him no matter what anyone says or even what you think. You know that you can trust what Jesus Christ says and what God says. Everything else is, it's just not true. Anyway, thanks for listening in a little bit today. I thank you very much. If you'd like to subscribe, that would be great. And so we'll see you. Goodbye and God bless. Thank you very much.